I'm going to show you how to make tuna nigiri today. To make tuna nigiri, or tuna sashimi for that matter, the best fish is bluefin tuna. Now, this fish has become so highly praised that in recent times it's just nearly unaffordable to buy to make your own sushi. For example, in Tokyo, just this January 2013, a fish was sold that weighed 221 kilos. That's 489 pounds. And it sold for a record-breaking 1.7 million. 1.76 actually. That's $1,760,000 for a 489 pound fish. And a lot of that fish you can't even use. For example, bones and skin and head and all that can't even be used for sashimi or sushi. So the price is just ridiculously high. Now, it's probably hard for you guys to get bluefin tuna, so there are a lot of different varieties of tuna. Among them, yellowfin, or yeah, just yellowfin's good enough. Anyway, the most important thing is to get the freshest tuna you can. A lot of fish varieties, when you eat them, you have to freeze them to kill the bacteria, so they can be called sushi grade fish. But tuna is in the exception variety, where it's not required by the FDA, Food and Drug Administration, because it's a deep sea fish and it only eats other fish that are moving and alive. So it's pretty safe to eat. According to the FDA, it doesn't have high levels of parasites or is a danger. So you can just eat this straight fresh. Obviously, the freshest fish is better. Don't let it rot or anything like that. Then it's bad for you. But according to what I've read, it's fine to eat. It's the safest fish out of all the fish there are. If you're worried about parasites or something, stick to tuna. So here I have two varieties of tuna. One is akame. This is a leaner cut of the tuna. It's more towards the inside. It's got less fat and it's great for sashimi and nigiri, of course, and sushi rolls and basically anything in general that has sushi. Now, here's another cut, which is otoro, which is the fattest part of the tuna. It's normally on the underbelly part and there's less of it inside a tuna fish. That's why the prices have just skyrocketed recent times. Now you can just see the fat inside this fish. It's beautiful. And it just melts away inside your mouth when you eat this. Now they're both great. That's about basically everything I've got to say about this. Let's get to make some nigiri. To slice your tuna, what you'll need is a very sharp knife. Now the one I have here is a miyabi. It's a slicing Japanese style knife. Or you can also use a yanagabi, which is a specially designed knife for sashimi cutting. Alright, so you're going to have to lose a bit of the fish. This is excess. Now this can be used for sushi rolls or whatever. Now you want to begin here at this end and just drag the knife through. And that's what you're looking for, a nice thin slice. Now you just simply slice. Now this cutting action is called sogigiri, which basically just means angled cut. Now the toro is a much more delicate fish to make sashimi out of because it's so fatty it will just fall apart. So it's very important to have an extremely sharp knife for this. So just simply take a knife, put the heel there, and just guide it through. The fattiness inside this otoro is just incredible, and the taste is just Delicious. To assemble your nigiri sushi, what you're going to need is your fish, which you just cut, some real wasabi. If you want to know more about this, click here now to be taken to more information about this, and some cooked sushi rice. Now, if you don't know how to make cooked sushi rice, then click here now and you should be taken to the recipe video of the cooked sushi rice. Take about a quail's egg size of rice and you just form it into an oblong shape with your right hand, gently. Now you place your tuna over your fingers. Don't place it over your palm because it's too warm here and it will actually cook the fish a little bit. Now with your index finger of your right hand, you take a little bit of wasabi and you put it over your fish. Now you place your rice over the tuna, press it down with your thumb, correct the edges a little bit with your index finger and thumb, and now just curl up and a little bit of down pressure with your index finger. Now turn it over, shape the nigiri sushi with your thumb and your index finger. Now bring it towards the center, not over your palm again. Now just hold it and firmly press it in one of the sides with your thumb, holding it in place with your index finger and your curled hand. Now you turn it round, do the same for the other side, and there you go. One piece of Toro nigiri sushi done. Now you want to add a little bit of soy sauce over it. Beautiful. You wet your hands so that the rice doesn't stick to them. Take about quail's egg size of cooked sushi rice in your right hand and you just form it into an oblong shape. There you go. Now, take your fish, place it over your left hand, on your fingers, not on the palm because it's too warm. And you add a little bit of wasabi. Now, you place your rice over it, depress it with your thumb, and press in the sides with your index finger and your thumb of the other hand. Now, curl over your fingers, hold in with your index finger, and then just flip over to the end of your fingers. Now, shape it with your thumb and your index finger of your right hand, and then move it towards the center again. Now, you curl up, and you hold in, and you press in with your thumb. See here? Pressing in with thumb. Now, you turn it around and do the same for the other side. And there you go. That's tuna nigiri done. So now you've done the tuna nigiri, you add a little bit of soy sauce over it, and that's ready to eat. That was how to make the tuna nigiri sushi. Now, if you want to know more about this knife, then please click on it now, and you'll find out everything there is to know about it. It's a little bit pricey, but it is just so sharp from factory. I mean, it is just unbelievable. You have never experienced a sharp knife until you've held this thing. I mean, it will slice through anything like a hot knife through butter, literally. Now, I didn't even understand the meaning of this until I held this beauty. If you want to really make tuna nigiri, you got to get this knife. You can without it, but it's just so much more better. I mean, you can use other knives. I've got some cheaper versions and some other ones, but this one came from factory sharpened. Okay. Now, it is a masterpiece built by Miyabi. It is just astonishing. I made sushi before this thing, but with this knife, it makes your work easier. And the cuts are just cleaner and nicer, and everything's just a little bit better, you know? It's like having a carbon fiber bicycle or having just a normal steel frame bicycle. Yes, the steel frame bicycle does get the job done, but the carbon fiber one does it unlike the steel one. It feels like you're riding on air. And this, it feels like you're cutting through air. It's just you're slicing through the fish like it's not even there. And I can't praise this knife enough. Now I'm so glad that the guys at Miyabi gave this knife for me. It's great. If you can't afford one, you should get one. But if you can't afford one, there are other options. Like, well, you can get just any other blade and sharpen it by hand, but it will take you hours of agonizing work to get to this point. And you'll probably destroy a couple knives before you understand how to sharpen a knife with a whetstone, or at least irreparably damage a knife, like I did once before. I've always said that to make sushi, you need to have an extremely sharp knife. Now, with that in mind, next week's choice of videos is either you see me cutting some stuff with these knives here, Miyabi, they're amazingly sharp, or I show you how to sharpen a blade with a whetstone. Now, you can sharpen just any old kitchen knife with a whetstone, but it won't stay sharp as long as the Miyabis. Okay, so to sum up, just leave your comment below of either you want to see the whetstone or cutting stuff with Miyabi knives. Okay? Now, I don't know which one I would go for. I mean, it's important to know how to sharpen knives with a whetstone, but then again, it's also fun to watch cutting stuff with a knife and testing them. It'll be funny. I don't know. It's up to you. Leave your comment below, and don't forget, please share this video on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and vote up, vote down, leave some comments. It's always nice. And don't forget to subscribe. Here's a subscription link. Subscribe now to my channel and you'll get to see much more sushi videos.